Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today you find me here in my temporary simpit and I'm in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I thought today I'd do a little demonstration flight just to show you the degree to which I've gotten MSFS integrated with my hardware and other customizations, and also talk about the things that really don't work and are not ready for home cockpit builders in this sim, in my opinion. I know there are a lot of people out there building sims around MSFS, but there's always going to be compromises when you do that, and the compromises are significantly greater than I'm comfortable with at the moment. So I guess that's a spoiler that my opinion is going to be it's not ready yet, but it's still usable. You know, you can get a good flight out of it with the right conditions. So we're going to try and do that today. First things first then, let's go to the world map. I've got a flight plan saved on Manas, and it's going from Shoreham Airport on the south coast of England up to Biggin Hill, which is near to London. Near enough that we'll be able to see London, but not near enough that it's going to cause us too much difficulty. We need to pick parking spot because it doesn't save that with the flight plan. I think it would save it with the flight, but that can cause other issues. So we're going to parking 4. We're going to be in the TBM 930 today. TBM 930. It's a fast little aircraft and it will get us there quickly, so I thought we'd go with that. Livery wise, I'm going to stick with the default. I don't really like any of the other ones, to be honest. I'm sure there's some third-party liveries, but I haven't really gone out and looked for them. And then flight conditions-wise, so I'm going to go with the live weather, and I'm going to go with live traffic. I'm going to go with all players, not live players. If you don't know what the difference is between those two, I can maybe explain that later on. However, I don't want to go with live time, because as you can see, it's 15:43 on the 23rd of January, which means that within about an hour or so it's going to be dark or close to, and I don't really want to be arriving in the dusk, although, you know, a little bit of duskiness towards the end would not be the end of the world. So what I'm going to do is actually run the time back a little ways. I'm going to run it back a couple of hours to, let's say, 13:45 or thereabouts. Now, that is going to affect the weather situation for reasons I'll explain when we're in the aircraft, but that should get us a decent amount of light. Alright then, let's hit fly and get into the simulator. Right, so here we are on the ground at Showroom in the cockpit of the TBM, and this is pretty much default as loaded. If I just look outside, you can see this is Orbex's showroom. Look over there, there's a terminal building. We'll take a better look at it in a minute, but there's a few things I need to do in terms of setup before I can really get on with anything, and it's annoying because these are things that I could have pre-programmed in P3D, but you know, we need to deal with it. So number one is the view. So I'm going to move the camera as high up as I can get away with. There we go. As you can see, the horizon line is roughly in the middle of the screen, which would make sense if this was a desktop flight and I was using a desktop sim, but I'm not, and my monitor is quite a bit higher up, so my eye line is down here. Now, you can't program or alter a view frustum. You can define custom cameras, but you can't change the view frustum of the camera, so I can't actually move the horizon line down naturally by changing the angle of the view frustum. Instead, the only option I have, and it's the one I'm going to use, is that I can change the angle of the camera. So basically I do this, and it's roughly equivalent to me tilting my head back, and I get the horizon line where it should be. And then I'm just going to push the camera a bit further forward so we've got a good view, and that's the view I'm going to use for the rest of the flight. Doesn't affect the other views, so for example if I look out the side, the horizon line has gone up. In fact, it's gone up further than halfway. I do not know who that is, but I'm pretty sure that's not actually... looks like maybe an A320 or something. I'm pretty sure it's not actually that. It'll be a player with a model that I don't have. Don't get me started on model matching for MSFS. That's a whole different ballgame. I almost flew with no other players at all and just AI traffic, but I thought, you know, let's liven things up just a little bit. Okay, so actually we'll pop the drone out for a minute. Drone cam is of course kind of unique to MSFS. We'll pop it up a little way so we can see down on the surroundings. There's the town of Shoreham over there, and then further along the coastline beyond where that chimney is Brighton. Can't see it with the haze at the moment. If it was a really clear day you could actually see Brighton Pier. Let's just tilt the camera down a bit and then we'll do a bit of a pan around the airfield. So got some hangar space over there. Those vehicles that have no texture on them, that appears to be a function of distance, and it appears to be part of the scenery. If I move the drone closer, those will actually get textures, but when I move them away, they lose the texture. So it's not the case that they just haven't loaded in yet. They're deliberately designed not to load in if you're more than a certain distance away from them, which I guess works, but strikes me as a bit odd. I mean, we've got some other cars over there that either appear to have blankets over them or have got the same issue. In fact, if I move the drone cam, yeah, you can see they acquire their textures. It's a little bit odd. I don't really know why they've done it like that. This is Orbex's showroom. I have this airport for P3D and it's quite nice, so I thought I'd get it for MSFS, and it's pretty much the same in both, barring some of the fundamental look and feel differences that you get in MSFS. 3 runways. We've got 0220, the concrete runway there, with whoever that is parked on it, and a couple of grass strips. In fact, I don't want to put player tags on, so I may blur this one out. I'm just going to turn them on. I'm going to wait until it cycles and tells me what that aircraft actually is. C25C. I don't know what that's supposed to be. No, I don't know what that's supposed to be. Never mind. Aircraft codes on tags can be a little bit inscrutable. Actually, the tags are not inscrutable, are they? Because it's people that are inscrutable. But anyway, that's our surroundings. Let's get back to the aircraft. And we're going to be flying roughly north towards Biggin Hill. Right, we're going to need to get some power to the aircraft, so let's do that first of all. You may notice on the external camera it's getting a bit dark in this room now. So as I say, it's nearly 4 o'clock, and it will, over the course of this flight, it will get dark. But don't worry, we've got some lighting. It's not going to be pitch black. Let's have battery on, avionics on, cabin lights on. So we've got some illumination, and now we need to get set up. Now, I need to load the flight plan into the G1000. As it happens, I already have it saved. So if I go to the MFD and go to FPL, store flight plan.
TOS system test. Okay.
Yeah. And we want this one, number 4. Activate. There you go. So that saves me having to type it all in. So we're going EGKA, that's this airport, to OTSID, to EGKB, and then there'll be an approach on top of that. I can see that ATC has already loaded that approach. I'll talk about ATC in a moment. So I'm going to go into the procedures, select an approach, and it's going to be ILS 21 with the Alkin IAF transition, and we'll load that. There you go. Alright, good. And we go back to the map. As you can see, I've got my G1000 customised with the right dials, etc. for the engine on the TBM. That's the whole reason I bought the Simionic solution, is that you can do that. and it's a reasonable facsimile of what you would see in a G1000 version of the aircraft. This is actually G3000 because it's the TBM 930, but if you had the G1000 TBM 850, for example, this is pretty much what you would see. And then a couple of things we do need to do in the cockpit. Now we've got power. You can see the G3000 screens are not illuminated. That's because I've actually unbound the gauges from them just to save a bit of FPS, but there are a couple of point and click exercises I do need to do. So bleed needs to go to auto, and then fuel select also needs to go to auto to make sure we got even use of the fuel. Everything else should be alright as is. Alright, that's good. And because the batteries will not last forever, I am going to get the engine started. So let's have the beacon light on, and everything else is set as correct. I just need to turn to the starter on. Blades will turn, and when the NG gets to 15%, I'll inject some fuel. And there we go. Keep an eye on the ITT, but there's no failures turned on, so we're not going to get a hot start or anything. And I would say that is a pretty good engine start. Let's have the pitot heat on, because it's not warm. It's not icy conditions, but it's not warm. And that looks all good to me. Alright. So, ATC, yes, we are not using the built-in ATC because, let's be honest, it's a bit crap. I'm sorry, Asobo. I mean, yeah, it's very basically functional for basic flying, I guess. But for, you know, proper IFR flying or anything approaching it, it's not very good. There are two external ATC systems that work with MSFS at the moment. Those are PF3, which I think you have seen on the channel before, and Pilot2ATC, and I've gone with Pilot2ATC, so we can have a brief look out the window there. There's your Pilot2ATC. I've got it connected to the sim. I just need to file this flight plan, which I've preloaded, and that's going to give me, amongst other things, an expected approach via Alkin, which is what I've already programmed in, so we're good there. Pilot2ATC is a pretty complicated piece of software, fairly steep learning curve. I would not claim to have gotten the full benefit out of it yet. You do have to talk to it. There is a co-pilot function. The co-pilot will answer radio calls for me and use the correct phrases, because knowing the right phrases is important. But to initialize and initiate operations that the pilot can't know about, you have to talk to the sim, which I will have to do. So fingers crossed we don't have any terrible misunderstandings, because those could be quite humorous. Right, get full flight up and running. Also turned on my butt kicker, which is now kicking my butt. I'm actually going to turn it down a bit because for whatever reason the feedback from MSFS is much stronger than it is with P3D. Alright, let's get full flight up and running. Full flight has the course in as well. Although I'm going to remove this chart from view at the moment. There we go. Good. Alright then. You can see we've got some fairly overcast weather. This is the live weather. You saw me select that. So this is live at 15:56, even though in the sim it's actually more like 13:58. This is one of the big disadvantages with the live weather system. There's no history in it. You can't set the time back or set it to some point in the last few months and actually get historical weather from that time. The historical weather model doesn't exist. The live weather model, sorry, only exists right live, right now. And when Microsoft were asked about this in a Q&A, you know, what about historical weather? They said, well, why would you want that? I'm afraid the fact that they don't understand why we would want that is a little bit of an indication of kind of why the sim is not where it needs to be, and after a year they don't seem to have really focused on any of the features that we really need. So I'm running the live weather, but it's obviously a couple of hours ahead. That means that ATC will actually think that it is 15:57, not 13:59. That's fine, it's not going to hurt too much. ATC is picking up its weather from the NOAA web service, which should give you essentially the same weather we've got live here. And that's another problem. There is no way for this add-on to read the weather from the sim. In fact, no add-on can read the weather from the sim because the weather APIs have been deprecated and you get no access to the weather. That's a real problem, because how's an external ATC program supposed to work if it can't pick up the weather? I mean, it can pick up the local winds, etc. through the plane API, but you can't pick up the overall, you can't pick up the METAR, you can't pick up the sim weather more generally. So the only way to make this work is to use a service that gives you live weather and to have live weather in the sim. If I switched to a weather theme, because for example I wanted to fly in the middle of summer, I could do that, but then the only weather that Pilot2ATC would be aware of would be the live weather here in January, which would of course be wrong. So that really puts a major dent in the use cases that I would have for this thing. The fact that I can't pick a time and have representative weather is a real problem, and there's no active sky for this sim, and there's not going to be an active sky for this sim because the weather API is not available, and Asobo have been fairly clear that the weather API is not going to be opened up. I mean, they could change their mind, but at the moment it seems to be pretty firm that it will not be. And that being the case, we're never going to have that. It's going to be live weather or nothing, and that is a real problem. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in that space, but for right now the only way to make it work anywhere near effectively is to work live. So even though this is not the ideal weather for the flight, certainly not for any kind of sightseeing, it's what we have to do if we want to make it work. Or else you have to use the built-in ATC, which is, well, rubbish. Alright, gonna have a drink. I think we are about ready for our taxi, but before we do that we need to get our clearance, so I need to be on the tower frequency, which is 125.4, but we'll have a listen to the 80s just before that for a bit of a laugh. I recall that that is on 130.975.
Showroom information Foxtrot, 1520 Zulu winds are light and variable. Visibility 3 miles. 1,800 broken. Temperature 6, dew point 3. Current QNH is 1033. Arriving and departing runway 02. Showroom information.
Okay, that auto-generated voice was terrible. Some of the voices you'll hear will not be great, some of them will be a lot better. I'm using a variety of voices via something called Amazon Polly, which I might explain in a future video if anybody's interested. Alright, we're on the tower frequency. You can hear some ATC chatter in the background. I've got that plumbed in as well. What I need to do is initiate the conversation by asking ground for my clearance, and then the co-pilot will take over for me. So, tower TBM Golf Hotel Oscar Sierra Tango, ready to copy IFR clearance.
TBM Oscar Sierra Tango is cleared to Echo Golf Kilo Bravo as filed. Expect departure runway 02. Climb and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Squawk 5164.
TBM Oscar Sierra Tango is cleared to Echo Golf Kilo Bravo as filed. Climb and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Squawk 5164.
TBM Oscar Sierra Tango read back correct. QNH is 1033. Let us know when you're ready to taxi.
QNH is 1033 TBM Oscar Sierra Tango.
Alright, so we have our clearance, and I've put that detail into the G1000. A couple of things I need to do just as a prep. So we'll turn the flight director on, and we'll set our VS at initially 1500 feet per minute. And it's going to be runway 02. I probably will get given an altered heading, but I'm going to put 02 in for now. So So 020 and heading mode in. So we're all ready to go when we get to the runway. That's one less task we've got to do. And other than that, I think just need to ask for taxi. So let's do that.
No problem. Taxi to
Tower TBM Oscar Sierra Tango is ready to taxi.
holding bay.
TBM Oscar Sierra Tango taxi to runway 02 via taxiways Kilo, Alpha, Bravo, hold short runway 02.
Taxi to runway 02 via taxiways Kilo,
Okay,
Alpha,
nav lights on,
Bravo,
taxi lights on.
hold short runway 02 TBM Oscar Sierra Tango.
26
Parking brake is off. Now, the only question is, am I willing to kill this poor marshaller on the way out? Do you know what? I'm going to be nice. Let's just head to the right. Hopefully I should avoid. Yeah, there you go. Need to use a differential brake to steer sharply on this one, and it is quite a sharp turn. Not sure if it's realistic that I would move idle, but I am. And I don't really need more than this in terms of power, so we'll leave it at idle. On our way to runway 02. Hopefully we'll be clear of other players at this point. One of the problems with using your own ATC is, of course, there's no coordination. Not that there is any coordination with the in-sim ATC. You know, if you've got other players in, you just have to watch out for them. If you're on VATSIM, it would be a slightly different ball game. But then you'd really need to be in a group with everybody on VATSIM in order not to see other players. Again, the way that player grouping and communication and ATC is handled in the sim is really not adequate at all. I think with VATSIM you can just literally turn off all of the other players and then you'll just see the VATSIM people. Which is probably the way you'd want to do it. Slow down here, we should get a call.
TBM Oscar Sierra Tango advise when ready for departure.
Wilco TBM Oscar Sierra Tango.
Another flaps. Alright, so we can just tell them we're ready for takeoff and we should get our clearance. Tower Oscar Sierra Tango is ready for takeoff.
Oscar Sierra Tango winds are light and variable cleared for takeoff. Runway 02 maintain runway heading until above 1000 feet, then turn heading 037 to intercept course.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 02 maintain runway heading until above 1000 feet, then to 037 TBM Oscar Sierra Tango.
Strobe lights on. Entering the runway. Landing lights can go on too. Yeah, always get some starters turning onto the runway. Right, we're cleared to go until we get to 1000 feet and then we make a turn to 037. Everything looks good. I'm not running through a checklist on this flight, so yeah, we look ready to go. Let's advance the power. And do a not a rolling start, so wait for the RPM. There we go. Not the longest runway in the world, this one. Speed's alive, and there is rotate. Positive rate, gear up. A hill in front of us, so we do need to climb. 500 feet. 800, 900, 1,000 feet. Autopilot in. We'll begin our turn. Stay with a reasonably high rate of climb, I think.
TBM Oscar Sierra Tango contact. Begin approach on 129.4. Have a good afternoon.
Approach on 129.4
There
TBM
is
Oscar
flaps
Sierra
speed.
Tango.
Flaps are up.
Approach TBM Oscar Sierra Tango climbing to 4,000 feet.
TBM Oscar Sierra Tango, good afternoon. Radar contact.
Right, any minute now we'll get a call to say we're off course. For whatever reason it doesn't tell you to go onto your own navigation. So I'm going to wait for that and then do the turn that they asked me to do, and then we'll go back onto our own navigation. How realistic that is, I do not know.
TBM Oscar Sierra Tango climb and maintain flight level 070.
Climb and maintain flight level 070 TBM Oscar Sierra Tango.
TBM Oscar Sierra Tango, you are off course. Turn left heading 348 to return to course.
Heading 348 TBM Oscar Sierra Tango.
So I don't know if it expected me to just go straight onto my own navigation or not, but if so, why give me the turn to 37? I do not understand.
TBM Oscar Sierra Tango, turn left heading 348.
Yeah, I'm doing that already.
Heading 348 TBM Oscar Sierra Tango.
You can ease up on the allowed deviation, so I could get rid of some of those messages. But I'm gradually making that turn. And I will get a call before too long to go back under my own navigation. Right then, we've passed 5,000 feet. Landing and taxi lights can go off. Flaps are up and we are configured. Right, why don't we just briefly pop outside? So, you know, it's Microsoft Flight Sim, so it does look pretty good. This is the drone camera. We can move the drone around. We're not the biggest dab hand with the drone camera at the moment. We can make a circle around the aircraft like that. I'm not sure quite what that built-up area is over there. Oh, that's Hayward's Heath over there. We will be passing over Gatwick. Big fan of this view, I have to say. Then there's this view, which is kind of the point of interest view. I think it's the nearest POI view. I don't really know what the POI is.
TBM Oscar Sierra Tango, expect the ILS approach to runway 21 with the Alkin transition at Biggin Hill.
Expect the ILS approach to runway 21 with the Alkin transition TBM Oscar Sierra Tango.
TBM Oscar Sierra Tango, resume navigation.
There we go.
Resume navigation TBM Oscar Sierra Tango.
Right then. Now we're entering the Gatwick airspace. Pop out and have a look at Gatwick as best we can through the cloud. So, you know, the basics are working here. My hardware is connected, the G1000 works with it, my switch panel works with it, my throttle works with it. I've done a little bit of work in SPAD.Next to automate a few bits and pieces, which has been fine. I could probably do some more. But at the same time, things like the lack of historical weather, the inability of external ATC to read the weather, which means that you're stuck in live weather, or else you're stuck with the wrong weather information given to ATC. And I guess maybe the ATC programs will come up with a way to let you pick a weather theme so that it could at least, you know, derive the conditions from the weather theme, but that hasn't happened at the moment. So yeah, it's really a mixed bag. The lack of multi-view support, of course, is the real killer from my cockpit point of view, and we don't know when we're getting that or what it will look like. It may not actually be valid for what I want. Right, let's pop out. There's Gatwick. In fact, let's use the drone because it's a little bit easier. Oops. As you can see, I've not quite got the hang of all those controls. There's Gatwick down there. That is the default sim Gatwick. It's AI generated. It's okay. It's not terrible. Equally, it's not brilliant. I'm pretty sure there is some adding Gatwick. Oh wow! So what's going on with that aircraft? Sort of. Yeah, I don't know if it's actually going anywhere or just literally on a loop. Again, multiplayer, it can really be a mixed bag. Right, we're making our turn at Otsid now. And before too long we will get, well, first of all we'll get a descent instruction, then we'll get cleared on the approach. We have to descend fairly sharpish. Now in theory, I should be able to descend on the VNAV, but I don't seem to be able to make it work for whatever reason. So, this is going to be at 3,800 feet. And this we need to be at 1,800 feet.
TBM Oscar Sierra Tango descend and maintain 5,000 feet. QNH is 1033.
I'll see if I can make it work.
Descend and maintain 5,000 feet. QNH is 1033 TBM Oscar Sierra Tango.
So I'm going to slow it down a bit to give myself more room to descend. The thing is, you know, there's a VNAV profile. Let's look at the VNAV profile. Yeah. I don't know why. If I
TBM Oscar Sierra Tango descend
VNAV, it's
and
just
maintain
not gonna work.
3,800 feet.
Descend and maintain 3,800 feet. TBM Oscar Sierra Tango.
I've armed the V-path, but I really don't think it's going to kick in. I haven't really figured out the mysteries of Simionic when it comes to that yet, but we'll get there. Right, Biggin Hill's pretty much directly in front of me now. But with the clouds I probably can't see anything. No, I can't. We're going to pass over Biggin Hill and then come back round to it. So as we get through the clouds, we'll see some more. I'm going to increase my rate of descent. I'm going to be in the clouds shortly. Since I'm about to arrive at EGKB, I need to activate the approach, even though I've not actually got the instruction yet. I will do very shortly. And I'm making a turn towards Alkin now. We're at the right height for it.
TBM Oscar Sierra Tango cleared for the ILS approach to runway 21 with the Alkin transition.
Cleared for the ILS approach to runway 21 with the Alkin transition. TBM Oscar Sierra
There you
Tango.
go. Now in theory, I think if I do VNAV direct... no, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. Can I do it this way? Nav director there. Yes. Let's see if that works.
Descent 2000 feet, unit 100, 1010 feet, tower 22 kilometers.
Yeah, I don't think I really know what I'm doing here. No, I don't think I really know what I'm doing. That's alright. We'll get clearance to descend via the approach. And at that point I can... yeah, so I can see... Alright, so top of descent has activated. Yeah, I reckon the aircraft might start to go. It's slowed down a fair bit actually if I'm going to make this descent in time. Right, here goes
TBM
our
Oscar
turn.
Sierra Tango descend via the Alkin transition to 1,800 feet.
Descend to
I'll do that.
1,800 feet via the Alkin transition. TBM Oscar Sierra Tango.
Well, let's see what happens. I'm ready to initialise manual descent if I need to. So flaps out. Am I descending? No, I am not. Right, I don't know exactly what happened there. Yeah, okay, fine. I still really haven't worked out how that works yet. But we'll get there, I'm sure. Right, so the landing lights
TBM
on.
Oscar Sierra Tango QNH is 1033 at Biggin Hill contact tower on 134.8. Enjoy your afternoon.
QNH
Thank
is
you, I will.
1033 tower on 134.8 TBM Oscar Sierra Tango.
Right, I've made my turn. We're in the cloud so we don't see much.
Tower TBM Oscar Sierra Tango inbound for ILS approach runway 21.
TBM Oscar Sierra Tango good afternoon. Radar contact. Continue ILS to runway 21 call when established on final.
Continue ILS to runway 21 will call when established on final TBM Oscar Sierra Tango.
Right, there's the runway off to the left there. You'll see a bit of London. No, there's a big cloud in front of London. Never mind, we'll see it when we're on the ground. So we've automatically transitioned to the localizer. Line slope is coming down. Set the target altitude 500 feet, which is just below the altitude of the airport. Coming round, approach mode armed, glide slope is captured. Let's have the gear down. Flaps full. Tower, TBM Oscar Sierra Tango established on final.
Oscar Sierra Tango winds are light and variable, cleared to land runway 21.
Thank
Clear
you.
to land runway 21 TBM Oscar Sierra Tango.
Right. I mean, to be fair, we weren't 100% established on final there, but I did need to make that call. Quick check, everything looks good. Yeah, I think we're good. We are good to go. .000 feet indicated will be about 500 feet above. So the autopilot can come off at that point. VREF probably somewhere around about 80 to 90 knots. We've got 2 reds, 2 white on the Pappy. 1,000 feet coming now. 1,000 feet, autopilot is out. Nose dropped a bit there. It's a little bit low, that's alright. Yeah, now we're very low. Yeah, we're well off to the right. No, not the end of the world.
TBM Oscar Sierra Tango exit runway when able.
Well, we've got to go all the way down the end, so I'm not going to bother with much braking at the moment. Flaps up. A bit of beta. Slow it down to taxi speeds. Tower Oscar Sierra Tango is clear of the active.
Oscar Sierra Tango, welcome to Biggin Hill. There is no ground control at this airport. Let us know if you need taxi instructions.
I don't, but thank you. Tidy up the lights. Welcome to Biggin Hill, everybody. We're going to head towards the general aviation parking. Across the runway again at this point. Ordinarily I'd hold short and call in, but as there is no ground service here, we're just going to have a look for ourselves. Let's have a look. Clear left, clear right. Just cross. And yeah, clear right, clear left, yes.
085 heading American 9702.
Now in theory, I think there's a marshaller around that would marshal me in. But I don't really bother using the ground services in MSFS because they're not very good. Like so many other bits and pieces. So much of a mixed bag, you know, it looks better than any other sim in its class. And yet at the same time so much of it is so incomplete and just frustratingly so. I'm going to go and park near that Kodiak, I think.
025 heading, cleared Alex 36 right, American 9702.
026 Mike, he has 2,000 in the speed limit.
2,000 speed limit.
42 12, reset level 45.
Level 45, get a Port 12 up.
And there we go. Parking brake on. Taxi nav lights off. Shut down the engine. And here we are. Beacon off.
For the 132 uit de Alpha, ik was 361, reset level 45.
Set the 45, 36 right, scale 132.
Right. It is traditional around these parts when you get to an airport to pop out with a drone and have a look at it. So let's do that. Pull the drone up in the air a little bit. Alright, you can see London over there. Quite a bit of detail filled in, which is nice. Didn't get close enough to really see it, but it's nice that we can see it. It shows you how near to London this airport actually is. And it's not that far from where I live actually. It's probably only about 10 miles or so from where I live. Where I live will be in roughly the direction we're facing now. This is an auto-generated airport. I don't think it's had any manual attention. It's certainly not a handcrafted airport. But you know, it looks all right. It it reasonably represents the layout of the real airport, even if the buildings are not that accurate. And we got a little bit of traffic parked here, but I don't think there's any user traffic. I've got the labels off, so I wouldn't see them anyway. These are all statics, I think. Yeah, it's all right. Right then, let's just adopt a suitably dramatic screenshot pose. There you go, that'll do for the screenshot. Don't know why that beacon light is still on, given that I've turned my beacon light off. It just seems to go. Right then, that's your lot, folks. I think I've demonstrated that MSFS, it does work. You can fly with it. You can fly with add-on ATC, slightly more realism, IFR, ILS, etc., etc. More than just the usual VFR sightseeing, which is, to be honest, what I do most of the time in this sim. In fact, the only reason I actually started using MSFS was because I had friends using MSFS who said, "Hey, come and fly with us." And so I installed it for that, and I've spent a bit of time with it, and I quite enjoy many aspects of it. I really don't enjoy many other aspects of it. I've got to be clear about that. I'm hopeful it will get a lot better, and maybe one day it will become my main sim in terms of the real cockpit. For now, it is the only sim I've got in my temporary simpit, though I am intending to put Prepared back on as well, and maybe I'll do some flying videos from the temporary simpit with Prepared, and we can maybe compare and contrast the difference in terms of what you can get with Prepared versus what you can get with MSFS. But it's more likely the next video is going to be another vlog or something about the design of the new sim. That is ongoing in the background. Not going to talk about it too much now for obvious reasons, but I'm still considering projectors versus TVs. I've bought Immersive Designer Pro, the kind of CAD software for projection setups, and I'm playing about with ideas for the space. And in the meantime, I'm clearing out the old space and being fairly ruthless about getting rid of stuff so I can make a bit more empty space in there. As I mentioned, I'm going to strip the carpet out and have a look at the floor and so on and so forth, and that's going to take quite a few weeks. I might make a little bit of vlog content about it, but it's not really germane to the channel, so probably you're going to see more in a few weeks' time when I've moved on to the next stage of that build. Right, so as always, if you would like to subscribe to the channel, I would welcome that very much. But if you do, then please do click also the little bell icon. It doesn't just help the channel, it also allows you to know when I'm publishing a video, and since the schedule is quite erratic here, it's going to be a better experience for you if you get notified than if you come back on a regular basis looking for new content which may not yet have appeared. If you like the video, then please hit the like button, that does help. And if you disliked it, feel free to hit the dislike button, as all feedback is always gratefully received. But for now, from Biggin Hill and Microsoft Flight Simulator, I will say thank you for watching the video and for your time, and I look forward to seeing you back on the channel very soon.